company, always on the run, a destiny, oh, it's the rising sun.
Hello, and welcome to Lacey Broadcast News for March 2021. My name is Chris Papa.
And I'm Jake Sullivan. LBN is our flagship program here at WLTS, and today we'll be taking a look at what's going on in and around Lacey Township High School and the surrounding community.
Later on in the show, we'll hear about a virtual career fair sponsored by NHS, learn about how Lacey teachers adjust their methods during COVID-19, and check in on the hockey and swimming teams as they co-sponsor a food drive. But let's see the Lions' pride.
Our first segment features you, Chris. We were able to restart school sports programs in the fall and continue into the winter. Let's hear about what it's like to compete in sports during a pandemic.
During these difficult times in the world, sports still continue. That goes the same for the Lacey Township swim team. The world is different, but the swim team is adapting so that they can keep doing what they love. Let's see what Chris Papa has to say about just how different his sport is.
Difference a word described by everyone doing sports right now during the winter. But one thing's kept the same. We're still doing it. We're still going through the season, doing our meets, doing our practices, and doing what needs to be done, just like every other sport. And that's what I feel like is bringing us all together, is that we can still accomplish these goals of doing these sports, going to school, and doing everything we need to do.
Chris went on to say that the team is doing very well this season, with the seniors often taking the lead. The whole team keeps going despite new obstacles and continues to work together to get it done. I think I speak for all of us when I say that we're proud of these outstanding student athletes still representing Lacey Township High School in the midst of the pandemic. Keep it up, guys. We're all rooting for you.
This COVID-19 pandemic has affected a lot of high school sports, especially mine, which is men's volleyball. And although it's a very rough start in the beginning, we're all through this together and never give up.
Very true, Jake. Moving on, the National Honor Society recently held a job career fair and internship fair in a virtual setting.
Let's take a look on how it went.
Congratulations to the NHS on a job well done with the Job, Career, and Internship Fair.
Just like the NHS made the move to a virtual event, lots of school-related activities have gone to online formats.
It's hard to believe that a year ago this month, everything changed. In a matter of days, our teachers completely reformatted their classes and changed over to virtual teaching.
In our next segment, Ryan Class and Chris Palmer talked to a few of their teachers to find out what changed in that moment, and how they are making their way back with a hybrid and in-person teaching.
So, what changes did you need to make in your teaching with COVID?
Just the overall interaction with the students at home, ensuring that they were getting what they needed, checking in a little bit differently than we usually do, where you can do it in person and just check to see if people are struggling. You couldn't really do that in person anymore unless kids were 5 days a week. So you had all these virtual kids who you need to make sure you check in on, because they might need help too and might not feel comfortable talking about it in an online setting. So you had to reach out to them individually. I mean, that's really all that changed. The academics have stayed the same. The way in which I teach has stayed the same for the most part. I've had to make a few modifications, but ultimately it's been a pretty seamless transition to the online model.
All right. So our first question that we had for you was, did you feel that the students had put more effort into online school or into in-person school?
I think it's more kind of depends on the student.
All right. What changes did you need to make in your teaching due to COVID?
For me, really teaching completely changed, as I'm sure you're probably hearing from a lot of other people as well. I teach a video production class, and while, a lot of what we wound up doing, kind of lent itself pretty well to video, we had to, completely abandon all of the big live production shoots we did, running a lot of the big events that we run, and then even just in class time, just trying to find new ways to get that information across. So it was like a complete 180 when COVID hit.
All right. Well, the next question is, do you like the online format of teaching, or do you like teaching in person better?
I think the socialization that goes along with what we do, the small lessons we teach outside of just our academic and content areas, the ability to draw kids in with who we are and our personalities as educators, I think that's super important. So this online.
All right, good. So our next question that we had for you, how did you feel about school reopening fully to its max capacity?
Actually, I was pretty comfortable. The thing is, I'm actually lucky because I'm in a science classroom, double-sized science classroom, so I have a lot of space. So I'm actually able to put all my desks at 6 feet apart.
All right. Do you like the online format or teaching in person better?
I am definitely a better in-person teacher. There's no doubt about that. But I've got to say that there are so many things that I think that we've learned from going into the online format, and things that we can carry through, and bring back into the classroom as things start to normalize and come back to normal. There's the YouTube video aspect of it, the Google Meet aspect of it, being able to get people together and to get information out there, without actually having to be together. I think a lot of this stuff is really going to carry forward, once we kind of, get things a little bit more normalized.
All right. Did you feel that the students put more effort in online or in person?
I felt in person. The reason why I feel that way is just it's because I could address any issues that a student might be facing in real time in most cases.
Awesome. That's great to hear. Next question that we had for you is, what changes do you have to make in your teaching compared to in school and virtual?
I think one big thing was, actually there's been a few things. One thing, of course, is being in physics and having to do example or sample problems. It was harder to go through and try to figure out how to demonstrate certain problems. Had to change how experiments were carried out. So I found a lot of online simulations that were actually very good in actually being able to do or carry out labs.
Do you feel like students put more effort in person or online?
That's a tough question. I think it really depends on the student. Whether a student is putting more effort online or in school, I've seen a little bit of both. That I've had students just do such an outstanding job in the remote field.
And the last question is, how do you feel about schools fully reopening?
I'm fine with it. I think schools need to reopen. I think kids need a sense of normalcy.
Did you prefer teaching online or in person?
Definitely prefer in person. I know it's just, even though I've kind of adapted to doing online, there's just, with science, it's 100 times easier, or 100 times, actually, it's 100 times better to actually do it in person, because you get that hands-on experience with labs. So that certainly has been lost.
Mm-hmm. All right. And the last question is, how do you feel about the school reopening fully?
I think we're ready for it. I think that we are, ready to get back rolling and ready to get open fully. But I think that we also have to be careful and take our time with it.
Thank you to our teachers for everything you've done for us.
While we had to make changes and deal with the hardships involved with the pandemic, it certainly has brought us out for the best.
In our next segment, we'll take a look at a great example of that, as the swim team and the hockey team held a bit of a competition for the Lacey Food Bank.
So what we're doing is the swim team challenged the hockey team to a canned food or a non-perishable food drive contest. Basically, whichever team can collect the most canned food within a certain period of time, I believe we said 3 weeks, the winning coach gets to shave the losing coach's head. If swim loses, then D'Amico gets to shave my head and Keelan's head, so it's win-win for him. If we win, then we get to shave Coach D'Amico's head, and that will be fantastic because he's going to be hilarious bald. I don't think sunlight's ever seen the top of that man's dome, so it'll be shiny and white like my whiteboard.
So the deal started with myself and Coach Fritz. Nonchalantly, we started in the hallway, kind of going back and forth, saying like, let's raise some food bank stuff for the or food for the food bank, I should say. And then it turned into him calling me out on Twitter, which is all fun and games, and it really took off. Both the hockey program and the swim team have done nothing but great things, trying to raise food for the food bank, non-perishable items, such things like that.
Basically, all teams here at Lacey Township High School, we do something to give back to the community, and doing just like a swim-only community service is good. We baked food for the food bank last year, but when you turn it into a competition, things can get a little more competitive, hence competition. And I thought, what better team than the hockey team, because they're a competitive bunch of people. And really, I just want to see D'Amico bald. That's the selfish inspiration. That's a selfish motivation. Why this is going down? I figured, all right. I didn't realize he was such a good guilter. I heard he's been guilting his team into getting canned food because he's a proud papa of a brand new baby boy, and his baby boy can't have a bald father. Wah, wah, wah. Apparently it's working. So not super psyched about that, but we have some food, so we'll see how it ends up on Friday.
I'm terrified I'm going to have to shave my head, not for the fact that people have to see me with a shaved head, but that I have to go back home to my wife and she's going to yell at me that I shaved my head. But it's all a good cause and good spirit, so I already told her that. So she said, as long as Coach Fritz lets me shave it like a 2 or 3 on the side so we can clean it up after.
Am I afraid of having my head shaved? No way, man. Bald is beautiful, baby. And this is a good-looking dome. And if it goes bald, that's fine. It grows back. It's only hair. I don't know about Coach Keelan, though. His hair's not growing back as well, so I'm worried for him. But for me, I'm good.
I mean, just keep doing this kind of stuff. All good cause and charity stuff is good for the heart, good for the soul. That's good karma. Good things come to good people. So the more we do and the more we raise awareness, the more we raise for charitable events, good things come to those kind of people.
Anything else, really, every little bit helps. And just because the swim teams and the hockey teams are collecting food for the food bank this one time doesn't mean that you guys can't constantly donate to the food bank or volunteer your time or pay it forward. I mean, Lacey is a community first and foremost, and the way we help each other out definitely shows in the long run. So every little bit helps people. Get that food in, volunteer where you can, help out, pay it forward.
And the results are in. If you happen to see Mr. D'Amico walking around the building with a shaved head, now you know why.
With that, we come to a close of another edition of Lacey Broadcast News.
Thank you for joining us. For Chris Papa, I'm Jake Sullivan. Have a great day.